could you leave your loving wife? I shall not be able to go on with my life, knowing that at any time during war you are subject to demise. Leaving your helplessly anxious wife would be so unwise.
War is in the air. The fate of the revolution is in our hands. The patriots need me. You would not understand. You believe you have a claim to me, but I shall not follow your demand.
But my husband, we would have such a wonderful time, staying at home while the others are in war committing their crimes. Just you and me in a house such as this. Think if you left me all that you would miss.
You will not seduce me, you deceitful wench. Out on the battlefield, my manly thirst I shall quench. Do not be too terribly distraught for the one you adore, for I shall be home soon to provide for you once more.
If he could leave me so easily, then there obviously is no love in his heart for me. How, in convincing him to stay, did I not succeed? 'Tis obvious I do not have the power over him that I need. How is this possible that he ignored my desires, to leave me for a war full of bullets fired? I was such a fool to think he was mine. He does not listen to what I say, not a single line. This unrequited love and absence of ultimate command shall drive me to ruin him until his weak soul can no longer withstand.
When again, my sisters, shall we meet, in times of victory or in times of defeat?
When the battle of Groton Heights sees its close, when the patriots and loyalists no longer oppose.
By the dawn of morrow, I suppose. Where shall we cross the path of Macbeth?
Where the snow does melt in the York River, we shall meet Macbeth and make him shiver.
We must follow the words of the overseer. Now of this plan, are we all clear? We shall tell Macbeth falsities of what lies ahead, so that he, like a puppet, is strung by her thread.
Of his own ambition he will be certain, yet she shall have control behind the curtain.
Of this prophecy in which we share.
Fair is foul and foul is fair. Let us hover through the fog and filthy air.
Father, did you hear the news about the war? The Battle of Groton Heights. It's no more.
About this news, can you be sure?
These events I witnessed with mine own eyes, though the outcome did leave me with surprise. Benedict Arnold, your trusted right hand, is now a turncoat and has taken a British stand.
But if you come bearing such grave news, why do your emotions seem so amused?
When Arnold showed his loyalty cross, the Continental troops were sure the battle was lost. Then, Truculent Macbeth rallied up our men, and we took control of the battle again.
But where hath our betrayer gone?
To the land where devils do spawn. Macbeth did slay him on the battlefield, and as his true courage was revealed, the savage natives joined the British force, attacking our troops, showing no remorse. Instead of acting chicken-hearted, Macbeth ended the battle as soon as it started. Macbeth proved to all that he is brave, and now I shall thank him, for our nation is saved.
As Major General, I tell you, my son, what he hath lost, noble Macbeth hath won. Lady Macbeth, how do you do? Your husband shall be welcomed as a hero soon.
Good morrow, General Duncan, and thank you for the uplifting news. I was hoping that I would cross paths with you.
For what occasion?
I'd like to cordially invite you to my home to dine, to welcome back the men from battle, and to drink wine.
I appreciate this offer, and I shall consider. Stay in good health, my lady.
I'm afraid I've already fallen ill.
They met me in the day of success, my dear wife, and I have learned by the perfectest report that they have more in them than mortal knowledge.
I still cannot fathom that you were able to slay the traitor. The honor you earned could never be greater. I am jubilant that we won a battle so dreaded.
This day has been anything but beetle-headed. The moment that Arnold's loyalty to the British was revealed, I knew that I had to act in his place as brigadier on the battlefield. Now that the fighting has ceased, I hope that our homes are near.
How long is the path to Yorktown from here?
Pray pardon me, servants. What business have you? Obey your masters. You must have work to do.
Are these women? I see not breasts. A gang insurance, not impressed.
How dare you filthy drabs attempt to silence me when you are just women, servants with no authority.
All hail Colonel Macbeth, adjutant to Benedict Arnold.
All hail Brigadier Macbeth, adjutant to General Duncan.
All hail General Macbeth, soon to be Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army.
What is this false future you bestow upon me?
You speak great promises of fortune to Macbeth, but what of me? I demand you lowly woman to include me in this prophecy.
Hail.
Hail. Hail.
Lesser than Macbeth and greater.
Not so happy, yet much happier. You will father leaders of the newborn nation, though you will not be so.
Well, okay. Tell me more of this future in full. Enlighten me with your whimsical prophecy, which seems all but dull. It is already known that I am a colonel in the Continental Army, but how so am I the brigadier that Arnold was before me?
No more of this prophecy shall we say. General Duncan is expecting your visit today.
Speak, metaphysical women. I charge you.
My eyes must be deceiving me if my twiddle-diddle strongly disagree.
Aye, then we shall be off to see General Duncan, as he is expecting us.
Once we entered the home of General Duncan, the prophecy began to come true. He named me the brigadier in Benedict Arnold's absence. This have I thought important to acquaint with you, so you might exult with me about the joys that have been promised us. I shall be home before long. Lay it to your heart, and farewell.
You blind, heartless fool, falling into the trap that I have so expertly placed for you. These supposed servants that seem to know your future have done well in their duties. Is it not clear that I am the puppeteer, you my puppet, pulling the strings that dictate what you believe to be your fate? And for once, like never before, I have total control. You shall be convinced that 'tis your own ambition that drives you to commit these acts of treason, yet driven by my indignation towards you, I shall be the lady behind the curtain. Stars, hide your fires. Let not light see my black and deep desires. What is it you come to tell me?
General Duncan has accepted your invitation to dinner this weekend, and he is on his way as we speak.
This is most pleasing news. I am overjoyed that he has graciously agreed to feast with my husband and me.
He sent a messenger ahead of him. His voice was hoarse from the long journey that preceded him.
Give him tendings, he brings great news. The raven himself is hoarse that crooks the fatal entrance of Duncan under my roof. Come, you spirits that tend on mortal thoughts, unsex me here. Fill me with the knowledge that I was once denied as a young girl in this humanity run by males who feel superior to all. No longer will I be expected to submit to the will of these abhorrent men. I have seen from my own experiences how insensitive men are towards women. I crave the control that I once lost when my husband left me for war. Control. A life without it would not be worth living. My dear husband, you will do as I command, so that I will be able to obtain all that is needed to satisfy my hunger for dominance. Come, thick night, and cover me in the dunnest smoke of hell, that my keen knife see not the wounded make, nor heaven peep through the blanket to cry, "Hold! Hold!"
Macbeth, my dear wife, as I promised, I have returned home from the war.
You are a comfort, for my heart is sore.
Ah, but I bring great news, so fret no more. General Duncan comes here tonight and will depart in the morning.
This is our chance. Hide your emotions, husband. You must give no warning. Look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it. Until the Major General is no longer, we shall not quit.
But General Duncan is an honorable man. How could I possibly follow through with this plan? I am his soldier, and I am his host. I should be the one he puts his trust in most. Yet, I find myself wanting to cause him harm. Have I been deceived by my lady's charm? Though she makes a point that this is my only chance, it seems that I am in the devil's trance.
Why do you appear so lost in your thoughts?
I fear these nefarious deeds will leave me distraught. As ambitious and lusting for power as I am, I cannot agree that it is worth the life of a man, especially that of noble General Duncan.
I believe, my husband, that your manhood has shrunken. What turmoil of yours could now change your mind? With such opportunities set before us, you mustn't be so blind. If your love is true and you meant all your vows, how is it that you do not trust me now?
If I do bid Duncan this inhumane farewell, I know that my sanity will also dispel.
Only when you imagine the power to gain, that is when you truly became sane. When you follow through with your predestined plan, you shall become even more of a man.
Yet, if we should fail?
If you gather your wit and fate agrees, we shall not fail. Now lend me your ears, and this is what we shall do. Once Duncan surrenders to sleep's inviting hold, that is when the prophecy shall begin to unfold. We shall fill his trusted entourage with our finest wine until they begin to behave like a pair of helpless swine. And when they can no longer fulfill their mission or defend their innocence without suspicion, we will once and for all eliminate the general's threat to our destined fate.
Being a woman, you know more than you should. Yet now I see that you have been misunderstood.
We shall take the daggers of the drunken gents to carry out this dark night's events.
And when we smear Duncan's blood upon his men, all evidence of murder will point to them.
We will grieve loudly when we hear of Duncan's death. Only a man with the most keen of senses would smell the lie on our breath.
My mind is made about what I must do. I apologize, my beloved, that I ever had doubt in you. Now, act as a hostess whose loyalty does show, and remember, false face must hide what the false heart doth know. Why do you lounge at this hour, hiding where no one can see?
I was afraid to fall asleep, you see. Those servants and their promises are troubling my dreams. Now, may I inquire what you are pursuing?
If you must know what I was doing, I was simply tidying up after the evening repast.
Don't you have servants to complete that task?
No more questions shall you ask. I bid you good night and hope your troubling dreams do not reappear.
I shall do so with a clear conscience, and pray that your dreams are not ridden with fear.
Is this a dagger that I see before mine eyes? Although you appear before me, I know my mind lies. For you're just a false creation that I can reach mine hand through. Yet your help is still taunting me to grasp you. Is it this impending deed that causes you to appear? Why is it that you bring upon me such deep fear? Your silhouette resembles that of mine own blade, that I shall use this night to make Duncan's light fade. Though this dagger shows my lucid reflection, the blood on you hath clouded your complexion. No, these hallucinations must not impede upon my focus while I satisfy my greed. Firm set earth, hear not my steps and the way in which they walk. My victim must not know where and when I stalk. Let not the clamor of my steps take the present horror from the time. Let not the light from this flame awaken the witnesses of my crime. Hear it not, Duncan, for it is a knell that summons thee to heaven or to hell.
Sleep no more. Macbeth does murder sleep. I can feel the control pulsing through my veins. I've restricted Macbeth's life with his very own chains. Like a puppet under my disguised command, you have blindly submitted to all that I have planned.
cannot fathom what I have just done. Did you hear a noise that would wake anyone?
I heard not a sound, only now your foolish regret. Why are you so concerned if he is no longer a threat?
I thought I heard a voice cry, "Sleep no more! Macbeth does murder sleep."
I have heard none of these words which you speak. Go, fetch a bucket and wash this filthy witness from your hand, and return the dagger to the room as we planned.
I cannot go back to see that man dead. I will not sleep after this blood has been shed.
Give me that coward. You are a disgrace to mankind. Learn to leave the past behind.
These bloody hands before me are not mine. All of Neptune's ocean could not wash away this crime.
My hands are of your color, but I shame to wear a heart so white. Who could be knocking at this hour of the night? We must return to our quiet chamber and hide all evidence of our unholy behavior. Go strip yourself of your blood-stained attire, and I shall conceal all that has transpired. That fool thinks I willingly am his maid, but he knows little of the plan I have laid. As he sleeps with his bloodshot eyes wide open, I shall trick him with my cunningly false devotion. Your innocence has been murdered with the same blade as Duncan, and you are the only one to blame.
I'm aware of what I indulged in last evening. But you just look so deceiving. You look so harmless, yet sustain my senses. You pleasure me in the moment, yet are so intensive. But when dawn wakes me the morning after, damn, I'm in such a state of disaster. Last night, I was so intoxicated, I went like a loyalist to bed. Last night, I was so intoxicated, nothing made sense in my head.
My good man.
What do you desire so intensely at this hour? There are only two things a vanity or power can want. A fine lady and a drink. But I can only use one of those, I think.
Dear Lord, what transpired last night? Looking at you is a repulsive sight.
I had the desire, but not the performance, in a state of drunk trance.
Okay, where's your master, you useless bum? Never mind, our knocking has awoken him.
Good morning, noble Macduff. Where have you gone?
I'm here at Duncan's request to rise him at dawn.
Of course, follow me. I will lead you the way to where General Duncan retired yesterday. Down this hall and to the right. Boy, is he in for quite a fright. 3, 2, 1. Oh heavens! Was that the cry of a young girl I have just heard?
It was not a child that has you stirred. There's been a great disturbance in this house.
What is this news you speak of that has you roused?
Someone has murdered our great General Duncan. Oh, the horror I discovered has me sunken. Go see for yourself to prove that I'm right. Approach his chambers, destroy your sight. Everyone arise, sound the alarm. Death and murder have caused much harm. Shake up this downy sleep, death's counterfeit, and look at death itself. Malcolm, Banquo, arise from sleep yourselves. Come witness this terror from hell.
What is this occasion? Who rang the bell? What is so important that everyone must wake?
Oh, fair lady, news of this nature would make a woman ache. Banquo, our great general has been murdered.
Woe, alas, in my house, in his bed.
It is an awful event, no matter the location. Of who did it, do we have any speculation?
It could not have been me, nor my wife. We were busy in bed together the length of the night. The head, the spring, the fountain of your blood has stopped. The very source of it has stopped.
Your honorable father is murdered.
Who would do such a despicable deed?
It seems as if the guards have done so, as their bloody hands and daggers show.
I do regret the anger that led me to kill them, even though they were untrustworthy men.
Macbeth! Oh, good Lord!
What drove you to act upon this rage?
So many feelings at once made me assuage. When I saw the blood splattered on Duncan's face, there was no possibility of me acting with grace. His guards could have been loyalists as far as we know. They were cruel-hearted traitors, not friend but foe.
How could they accomplish such a feat? All this news is making me feel such a sickening heat.
Tend to the lady, she's weak in the limbs. We shall discuss this murder when we feel less grim. The killer must be uncovered for the sake of our nation.
I will not rest until we confront this trepidation.
Nor I.
Nor I. Nor I.
Let us briefly put on manly readiness and meet in the hall together.
I must leave this place full of untrusted men at once, for I am too vulnerable as the general's only son. I must head north to the New England states to avoid any encounter with danger. This cannot wait.
I understand why you must leave, and in reference to your suspicions, I agree. If together we were to depart, it would too obviously reveal our disloyal hearts. So I shall soon after follow your path, to escape Macbeth's uncontrollable wrath.
Stay safe until we meet again. I shall see you when the fortnight ends.
Oh, Banquo, have you heard the recent news? No, other than the murder, I presume?
Malcolm, Duncan's son, has recently fled. He's believed to be the reason why his father is dead.
What a heinous act to accuse of a father's own son. Duncan purposely caused harm to no one. With no one left to replace his position, it seems Macbeth shall complete the transition. Macbeth shall be Major General.
That leaves me with opposing thoughts. In other news, I must be on my way. Hoping the situation does not get worse is all I may pray.
I bid you good travels and say farewell.
My beautiful wife, I thought you might reside here. I bring great news to you. Now listen with your ear. As Banquo is departing to travel northeast, I graciously invited him to our celebration feast. Isn't that wonderful?
No. Yes, this is the perfect opportunity. It's more important now than ever to act in unity. You must realize that if you want to stay in power, we must kill Banquo within the evening hours.
Murder? I mustn't. I cannot do that again. Especially not to Banquo, a loyal friend.
You fool, you do not understand. I am not asking, I'm making a demand. This, my husband, is what you should want. A dead man cannot be resurrected to haunt. Duncan's murder was not without purpose. Disposing of the general was just skimming the surface. You must work to make the prophecy come true, or Banquo's lineage will steal the position from you. And for once, we have total control of our lives. A lack of control would compel me to die. Control of the Continental Army, control of your fate, control of your destiny. Control cannot wait! Do you understand what I am asking of you? Do you know what we must do?
Yes, ma'am. I understand you.
It is concluded. Banquo, thy soul's flight, if it find heaven, must find it out tonight. And when dusk's curtain falls, meet me at the door where you once deserted me before.
Banquo told me upon his departure that he should travel the path where water meets wood.
A traitor, no better than the British. You can never be a general with morals so impish. Run, Fleon!
Pull the trigger. What's done cannot be undone. Be calm. This feast is your big debut. Nothing suspicious or foolish shall you do. Make not a single mistake, or they shall all think of you as a fake. Be a humble and gracious host, and beware of dead Banquo's ghost. My dear, please take your seat. Our guests are waiting for us to eat.
Who dares play such an evil ruse? I shall not stand for this abuse.
The celebration feast has been swell, but we must depart, for the new general is not well.
No, no, please sit. Macbeth is just going through one of his fits.
You cannot hide your guilt for long.
He has suffered from this condition since childhood. This situation must not be misunderstood.
Your succession in power is a journey so
Macbeth, what is wrong with you today? Not even I have seen you act this way. Snap out of this immature child's play.
My lady, I do not mean to cause you concern, but smallpox is what I seem to discern. Recently of this the doctors have learned.
Your inquiries are of no help to this circumstance. I must now ask you to leave our residence. Please accept my apologies.
Excuse us for causing so much alarm. By attending your feast, we mean no harm.
It will have blood, they say. Blood will have blood.
Quit your babbling, you make no sense in the head. I suggest that you go wash up for bed. Can it be that I've gotten carried away? Has my authority over Macbeth seen its last day? The control that I thought I could grasp is slipping through my fingers, yet the memory that begot my obsession still lingers. The moment Macbeth left and I was forlorn, that was when my endless insanity was born. When control began pulsing through my veins once more, I felt my lucidity return, I was sure. But after tonight's uncanny events, Macbeth's ambition has weakened my mental defense.
How do you fare, overseer?
You three have done well with what I have asked of you. However, recent events did not go as I planned them to. You must meet with Macbeth and share another prophecy. Make him act bold and irrationally. Now here's what you must tell him to do.
Lady Macbeth, your devoted and supporting wife, shall make the decision to take her own life.
There was no reason for her to commit such an act.
Rather than leading your army to war, the battle will take place at your front door.
'Tis impossible. The last battle was in Connecticut.
A man you could once call a friend will put your battle to an end.
One trifling traitor will not affect my army.
Listen, but don't speak to it.
You peasants, I demand to know more. You will not leave me without answers as you have once before.
We shall not show his eyes and grieve his heart. Come like shadows, so depart.
These strange beings have just vanished into thin air. I hear a peculiar noise. Who dare goes there?
My dear Macbeth, 'tis not a foe but a friend. Alas, there's poor news to you that I send. Macduff has fled to the land of the south. Such news I heard by word of mouth.
Thank you. Now is the time for me to act. His reason for fleeing I'm not exact, but I must steal this chance to make him decline, so that into my success his family shall not entwine. His wife and children will surely be home, and now off to his house I will go. Once his flesh and blood have taken their last breath, there will be no one left to take the place of Macbeth.
Do not think of your father and how he has left us. Of such a sad topic I would rather not discuss. Now I see, typical man, that he does not care. He leaves his poor wife, as always, to tend to his affairs. If he departs for his own good in unsafe times such as these, he shows no love, allowing evil to handle us as it may please. You killed my son!
Your husband is a traitor. He needs to be punished.
No, take my son! Hey, cut that out!
The war continues to rage on, but the warm months have come and gone. The tragedy of Valley Forge, through which we go, have left our number of troops quite low.
I pray this winter will be more forgiving. However, if Macbeth stays living, he'll manage to murder all of our men before the temperature even drops below 10.
I agree that Macbeth's leadership has been a disgrace, and you, as Duncan's son, should take his place. With the revolution threatening our lives soon, there is no time that would be more opportune. We need the Continental Army to be led by a hero, and you are, in every way...
Macduff, I have news to bring you.
Is it about my family? How do they do?
They fare well.
What is this news you bring to me?
Your family is dead, sir.
All of them?
I'm afraid so.
My dear wife?
I'm afraid so.
My children?
Yes, sir, I'm afraid so.
All of them?
Yes, sir.
Even my children? My youngins?
Sir, your entire family is dead.
Dead? This is terrible news you bring to me. Do you know who murdered my family?
It was our General Macbeth who did the deed.
Thank you for this news. You may leave.
Macbeth. God damn, why is this no surprise? Use your anger to bring Macbeth to his demise. Killing him to avenge your family would have vindication. You would be as well saving the entire nation.
Sleep. Can't sleep.
Both so deserving of your deaths. No. No. Too far. These deaths have taken their toll. Macbeth has gotten out of my control. Out of my hands, I am unable to tell him what to do. He was not supposed to kill you! Out, damn spot. Out, I say. I'm sorry. Not my fault. Not my fault. It should not have ended this way. No, not my fault. Not my fault. Macbeth, I may have lost control over you, but there is still one more string that I hold on to.
Macbeth, wake up! Pardon me, I bring grave tidings. I sincerely regret reporting to you these findings. Your wife was found dead last night. Seeing her hanging in the dark gave me quite a fright. Around her neck there was a noose.
Such an act is too abstruse. The prophecy. What? It proves true. I never thought suicide was what she sought to do.
I'm terribly sorry, but before I do depart, there is some more news that you must take to heart. There is no explanation for this peculiar finding, but when my eyes first caught sight, it was spellbinding.
Is this me? The second part of my prophecy. I see signs of battle on the horizon. It cannot be that the battle has begun. Already I'm failing in the general's position. When my army needs me for this expedition, I must shake off this hungover condition. Off now. I must go.
Me, you bloody coward.
You call me a bloody coward? Why is it that you feel so empowered? You are the one who fled my company and who abandoned your entire family. Those whom I slaughtered were left with no defense. Now they have joined the others I killed at your expense. Your children were crying out for their father, while your drab wife offered them up for slaughter. Goodbye, Macduff.
Drunken devil, put a stop to this cacophony that flows out of your mouth and bestows upon me agony. If you speak one more cursed word, never again shall you be heard.
Coward! You do not possess the courage to take my life. I'm immortal. I am Macbeth.
Now that the great Macbeth is dead, there's a war to be fought ahead. Malcolm shall finally take his rightful place, and his renowned father's footsteps he shall trace to the land of the free and the home of the brave.
What's done cannot be undone.